Grace be with you all, in Yeshua's name. The book called Vaikra, Leviticus, chapter 23, teaches about those solemn feasts established by Yah, the eternal God. Those feasts are not exclusively for Jews, as some think. They are also for the foreigner that dwells with them, as written in Deuteronomy 16, verse 14. Just as the word of God says, they're not a mere holiday for workers, but a right way of celebrating the rescue of God's people. And more, these feasts of God, they have spiritual meanings related to all the things that Yeshua made to become our salvation. In order for this study not to become a Judaism study, let's talk only about the three more important feasts. Pesach, mistakenly called Easter; Shavuot, mistakenly called Pentecost; and Sukkot, mistakenly called Tabernacles. Pesach, instituted to celebrate Israel's freedom from Egypt's slavery, as in Exodus chapter 12. In Pesach, a lamb was slaughtered in the first month of Hebrew calendar. This is the symbol of the true meaning. Yeshua was the lamb come to take the sin off of the world, as stated by John the Baptizer. As Israel crossed the Arabian desert to be freed from slavery, so the disciples of Yeshua crossed their own desert, a whole life journey to adapt to the path of God. As it said, Yeshua died on the first month, on the 15th day, and was risen on the 16th day, as the first fruits of those who sleep. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 20. And so, as the people delivered to God the first fruits of the harvest, so Yeshua delivers to the Father these first fruits of the eternal life. The moment when many people rose up at the time of his death, as we see in Matthew chapter 27, verses 51 to 53. Shavuot. Seemingly, this feast celebrated the end of the harvest, but not only. Its real meaning is to celebrate Torah's grant. Yah grants his law to the people he chose for himself, also with us who are not Jews. That's why we need to valorize Shavuot among the nations, because Yeshua is the living Torah among humans. We are not without law in this world. Yeshua is our master. He is our rabbi. He didn't annul the Torah. He extended it to the foreigner disciples. We obeying the Son who obeys the Father. In the book called Acts 2 verse 1, we see Shavuot marking not only a law's grant, but also the Spirit's grant. From that moment, every disciple receives into himself Ruach HaKodesh, literally the Spirit that sanctifies, formerly exclusive for kings, prophets, and priests. Sukkot, as we see in Leviticus 23, verse 33 to verse 44, the world-famous Tabernacles feast. Sukkot is the plural form of Sukkah, means tent. The most long 8 days of celebration. During these 7 days, Jews live in tents, bringing for them the memory that Yah is their king and they depend on him, owing him devotion and submission. The ultimate accomplishment of this symbol is in the future, by the time of Mashiach's return. Regarding to the last reaping to be made on Sukkot, so Yeshua is about to reap his last fruits, which shall be the last saved ones from the nations, when the measure of the nations will finally be fulfilled, as written in Revelation chapter 14, verse 14 to 16. and we will be carried together with him to open his kingdom in Jerusalem and be part of it. Sukkot will be the greatest messianic celebration between Jews and non-Jews. As it's written in Zechariah 14, verse 16, then everyone who survives of all the nations that have come against Jerusalem shall go up year after year to serve the King, Yah of the armies, and to keep the feast of Sukkot. The final conclusion is, all those feasts of God have spiritual meaning for all of us who follow Yeshua, not only for Jews. Though we don't celebrate these things today, and people of the church don't celebrate, we who claim to belong to Yeshua should really do it, or at least take part on them. Technically talking, we, the Messianic from other nations, were grafted onto the olive tree, which is Israel. We are not Jews. We are not connected to Israel through the Judaism, but we are connected to Israel through the Torah. We, the Messianics of the nation, we are not church. We are Keilah. Keilah is the Messianic body, the body of Mashiach, who includes the Messianic Jews and Messianic non-Jews. As it was said before, in the beginning of this study, these feasts are not exclusively for Jews, but they are for the foreigner that dwells with them. If you're supposed to be a disciple of Yeshua, or even if you are in this time when you still call him Jesus, you are the foreigner that dwells among Israel. These feasts are for you too. Think that.